Well, the truth is that Indian democracy, the spirit of Indian democracy, has really been tested today. On the program tonight, some very, very basic but direct questions which need to be raised. Enough of talk which has been indulged in by the Indian establishment. Is it time now for some real walk, or will we continue to talk? The 5 key words chosen by you. Summing up our Big Five at 10 Monday night edition. First up, war, not peace. What are we talking about? Is it really time for surgical interventions from India to break Pakistan's terror havens? Is it really possible or not? Full panel joining us on the program tonight. Our second key word on the program, payback time. Now, how many times have you heard that? That India will certainly act against Pakistan at a time and at a place which has been chosen by India. Were those just mere empty words? Because just take a good hard look at the families of these women who are in mourning. Mourning because India, frankly, has let them down. The Indian political establishment has let them down. We'll be looking at that story as well very, very closely. And our third story, coming out of that attack which happened yesterday, the state of terror. I'm saying it very, very clearly on the program. Pakistan is a failed state. If Pakistan is a failed state, what's the purpose of this diplomatic offensive which we seem to be launching against a state which is led by a prime minister who's not in control of the very country he's supposed to be leading? That's story number 3 on the program. And our fourth story, linked to that attack, Pak isolation is complete. Nawaz Sharif is reaching out to countries across the world. Is anyone willing to stand up with Pakistan or not? Lots of details on that front as well. And fifth and final, separated at birth. We may be separated at birth, but I think it's time now, frankly, to say that Indian politics, Indian domestic politics, is so closely interlinked to what happens between India and Pakistan that the hands of our decision makers are always tied up because they have one eye on what's going to happen. How is the Indo-Pak equation going to play out in the next domestic election? 5 stories chosen by you, summing up our Big Five at 10, Monday night edition. Right, so India, frankly, is on the boil. India is on the boil because the entire country is asking one simple question. When will this spate of terror strikes, sometime in Pathankot, sometime in some part of Kashmir, and now in Uri, when will this really stop? Can India really hold Pakistan by the scruff of its neck and wring that failed state dry? Or will we once again only indulge in words? Right at the top of Big Five at 10, let's run you through the 5 key developments on that big story. Firstly, Pakistan has completely been isolated globally. Nawaz Sharif has already written to the US, to the UK, France, Russia and China, urging them to put pressure on India over Kashmir. Now, US, UK and France have already rejected Pakistan's claims. Russia, in fact, has gone one step further, and they've called off a joint military exercise that they were supposed to carry out with Pakistan in that part of Kashmir which is occupied by Pakistan. Pakistan, however, continues to live in denial, despite the mountain of evidence which has been gathered by Indian investigators, not just now in Uri, even on earlier occasions. Pakistan continues to maintain that they have absolutely no role in what has happened in Uri. Ammunitions found on the terrorists have Pakistani markings, also carrying food items which were made in Karachi, yet Pakistan believes there is absolutely no room for anything to be believed which is being supplied by India. India is preparing for a befitting reply to the Uri attack. No knee-jerk military options, but surgical strikes targeting Pak terror bases may take place, is the spin which is being put by the Indian establishment. We'll try and put that spin before our panel as well. India has also raised Hafiz Saeed and Salahuddin matter at the UN Human Rights Council, saying that India say terrorists are roaming freely in Pakistan, yet Pakistan is not doing anything about what evidence which has been provided by India. Now, why are we saying that there is irrefutable evidence which has been supplied by India against Pakistan? Let's just place some of these critical points which India believes is evidence against Pakistan and frankly could even be presented in international court of law, but Pakistan believes it's not evidence.
A dastardly terror attack that killed 18 of India's brave soldiers. An attack that exposed Pakistan, nailing its lies on terror and Kashmir. And now an infuriated nation is speaking in one voice. Punish Pakistan for this brutal act of terror. No more diplomatic talks. It's time to make Pakistan pay. And here are the options the government is considering. Option 1. Cross-border raids, surgical strikes on Pakistan terror bases. Option 2. Artillery offensive at the LOC targeting terror camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Option 3. Intelligence-based targeting of specific terror masterminds in Uri. Option 4. Launch economic and diplomatic offensives against Pakistan. Option 5. Isolate Pakistan on the world stage. Press the world community to impose sanctions on Pakistan.
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that this time the response should be military. But what should be the timing of the military response? What should be the nature of the military response should be left to the armed forces to decide. The second task of the government will be to manage international opinion. And that is something which should begin now.
The nation has to respond together. So this incident cannot be, diluted by making, undesirable statements.
In the first payback to Pakistan, Prime Minister Modi may skip the SARC visit, and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj is likely to raise the Uri attacks at the UN General Assembly. India has extended asylum to the Baloch leaders as well. India has already started isolating Pakistan at the world stage by lodging a strong protest at the NAM summit against Pakistan for using poison instead of dialogue. India is also ready to expose Pakistan by circulating proof against it at the international stage. The US, UK, France, Canada, Algeria, Bangladesh and Afghanistan have already extended support to India. Pakistan meanwhile continues with its lies, denying its role in the attack, even playing the Kashmir card in New York. Fearing global isolation, Nawaz Sharif even wrote to 5 UN Security Council members, US, China, Russia, UK and France, asking them to pressure India on Kashmir. The attack comes just weeks after Prime Minister Modi exposed Pakistan on terror at the G20 summit, which was followed by the US telling Pakistan to act against terror, which went unheeded of course. But now it's high time that Pakistan is made to pay.
Okay, so we say that Prime Minister Modi has exposed Pakistan. We say that India has gathered mountain of evidence against Pakistan. And yet, it seems we're still basically repeating the same words which the UPA government used to repeat in 2008 when the Mumbai terror strikes had happened. Now, on this program, over the next 1 hour, I'm going to prove to you why there is literally no difference between what had happened in 2008 and what's happening now in 2011 as far as the Indian response is concerned. First up, just take a look at the proof, which has already been incidentally gathered by the Indian establishment. Ammunition and weapons with Pakistani markings found on the bodies of those terrorists who've been killed in Uri. The second important proof, candy carried by terrorists made by United Traders in Karachi. The third important proof, terrorists belong to the Pakistani-based terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed. In fact, many of them were even carrying ID cards and some papers. The fourth important proof, terrorists moved through 3 villages which were very, very close to the line of control, which means that they were very, very familiar with the area around the line of control. And fifth and finally, the mission to execute this entire plan was written in Pashto, and that is something which has been recovered from the terrorists. So what is it that India has been doing? Now, here we're saying that India reserves the right, at least the Indian establishment is saying that it reserves the right to attack Pakistan. Let's look inwards and let's ask one basic question. Have we ensured that all our defense installations across the country, are they really terror-proof or not? This is what we've picked up from our top government sources. Access control to all armed forces bases must be absolutely foolproof is what the government wants to do. It believes there must be greater use of modernized weaponry, technology. After all, you're living in an era where war is not just conventional. There's a cyber war which needs to be fought as well. What are we doing about that? Serious considerations being given to that. A 3-layered perimeter security to ensure adequate response. In other words, whenever a Pathankot or an Uri kind of incident happens, there must be response shown by that particular unit which is spread across different layers. Is that happening or not? Big question. The Defense Security Corps, that needs to have much, much better training than what exists today, just to ensure that irrespective of the number of terrorists, number of fidains who often end up coming to our military bases, our defense installations, they are neutralized at the very first step. Is that happening or not? Again, something for our establishment to think about. And finally, remove all vegetation from anywhere near key armed force bases so that terrorists do not get hiding opportunities. It can't be that just because there are a bunch of trees which exist around a particular important installation, that the commander of that installation should not be dependent on Environment Ministry or the defense estates to ensure that he can at least get rid of those trees. So remove the bureaucracy, remove the babudam when it comes to simply securing our own home bases. Let's raise the first big question on the program then. In light of what has been shown today, is it time for surgical interventions to break Pakistani terror havens? Is that a possibility or not? Very, very esteemed panel joining me, a full panel, people with stakes in what goes on between India and Pakistan. Here with me in our studios, well-known diplomat, former Indian ambassador to Pakistan, Parthasarathy. Always a great pleasure to have him in the studio. BJP's Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament, someone who's just come after having a meeting with the Defence Minister, so hopefully he'll be able to share a thought or two. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. Also joining me, Abhay Aima, Head Equities, Private Banking and Third-Party Products from HDFC Bank. Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal, former Army Commander, Northern Command, also joining us. And from Islamabad, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, who says that he cannot hear right now. Hopefully he will be able to hear the questions which will be put to him in course of this program. Let me just first begin with you, Dr. Swamy. Since you've come, sir, from this meeting with the Defence Minister, please tell me, through the day, this rhetoric which I have been seeing in television studios and across the media, time for action. What is this action, sir, which is being considered?
Well, first of all, I must make it clear that I went to tell the Defence Minister something, not hear anything from him. So there's nothing I can report as to what he has told me. But it's very, yes, I think there's almost national unanimity that this time we can't be like 26/11, which in one sense was much worse than this present incident. Just making pious statements of keeping peace and quiet and, you know, that they will talk this thing out. The national sentiment today is that we have to do something to Pakistan to hurt it.
To hurt it?
Yes.
So I want to underline that point.
Yeah.
You are saying, according to you,
yes,
and I'm putting this question in inverted commas,
yes,
and I'm saying since you have come from this meeting with the Defence Minister and since you also happen to be a member of the Standing Committee,
yes,
you are saying that you believe decision has been taken. Decision has been taken to hurt Pakistan.
Yes, I can't say this is authoritatively communicated to me.
That's fair enough. But you believe that a decision has been taken.
I know my way around in Delhi, and I can tell you that yes, the decision has been taken to grievously hurt Pakistan.
To grievously hurt Pakistan. Ambassador Parthasarathy, please help me understand this phrase. Grievously hurt Pakistan. Because you know what? When Mumbai terror strikes happened, sir, these were exactly the words which were used by some sections of the establishment then. And look at what happened. Ultimately, international diplomacy, you know, compulsions and all kinds of things were said and nothing happened. Is that what we're going to see this time as well?
Well, let me put it this way, that often when we say that no action was taken, many things are done which are outside the public view. Now, let's come to the present situation. What I expect to see and what I'm reasonably certain will happen. Yes, the United Nations and all this is tamasha.
It's tamasha.
It is tamasha.
So it doesn't matter what Modi goes and does, what Sushma Swaraj goes and does at UNGA.
No. The fact of the matter is that the great powers have made up their mind that they are not going to get involved in Kashmir. So whatever these people say, Nawaz Sharif says it's just not going to happen. And therefore there will be an usual exchange of rhetoric. I look at more seriously the region. Now, within the region, I think there are going to be important developments.
There are going to be important. Can you enumerate?
Yeah,
because I want the Pakistani guest to be listening to the points that you're making, and then I want him to respond to what you're saying.
He will not be able to respond because I am giving you the Indian point of view, and he will give you the Pakistani point of view, which is fair enough. As far as India is concerned, I think the most important thing is that in the forthcoming BRICS summit, we are going to have BIMSTEC and not SARC. Now, what is BIMSTEC? BIMSTEC is most SARC members minus Pakistan. Okay? So I expect that India is now going to get Pakistan out of the regional integration factor by moving in with its eastern neighbors, that is Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, with this grouping which is already moved. It started, it's moving. So the focus of attention is going to be eastwards with a lot on economic integration because Pakistan is stopped. So in effect, Pakistan's term as chairman of SAARC is going to be zilch. No, let me complete. Don't interrupt me.
Sure.
The other point is that whether we go or not go, one thing is very clear. Within SAARC, we've reached agreement with Afghanistan and Bangladesh that we are not going to make life easy for Pakistan.
That agreement has also been taken.
Yes, because if you see the last meetings of home ministers and finance ministers, all of them.
So what I understand from you, sir, I'm sorry to hold you because you make an important point. Now, Dr. Swamy began the argument saying that a decision has been taken, according to him, to grievously hurt Pakistan.
I'm looking at realistically.
You're looking at realistically, but you've given me a clear picture of what
this I'm reasonably certain will happen. No.
Now,
I'm reasonably certain will happen because the directions of the Goa meeting, the directions of what has happened in the meeting of home ministers, interior ministers and...
is all in that direction.
It is all in that direction.
Now, I just want to remind all of you that there is a live Twitter poll that we have put up as well. So, if you agree with what Ambassador Parthasarathy is saying...
that is going to happen.
Yes.
Because that's on the cards, and it is going to have grievous implications for Pakistan's place in the South Asian region itself. Forget the world, Pakistan is not a global
So I just want all of you, sir, a lot of comments coming on a Periscope feed incident, Ambassador Parthasarathy, Dr. Swamy, to what you're saying. And everyone seems to be in agreement. In fact, Gaurav Wankhede is saying it's the US as well that needs to be factored in, and a whole lot of other viewers. I'm coming to the US part. Just
that's later.
Just hold on, because I think both of you have flagged off an important point. And since this is India's only truly interactive program where you, the viewer, gets to ask questions, not necessarily me, I just want to remind you there is a live Twitter poll which is on. What should be India's next move towards Pakistan? 56%, a majority of those who are voting, and this is a live open poll, by the way, saying that yes, indeed, what Subrahmanyam Swamy is saying and what Ambassador Parthasarathy is suggesting, it could be complemented. Therefore, let me just put that question to Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed. Saeed Saab, here is a decision which seems to be on the verge of being taken by India to grievously hurt Pakistan. Please tell me, on what basis is Pakistan making up its strategy, creating its moves, if it really has no legs to stand on, sir? What exactly is Pakistan trying to do today?
First of all, I want to clear a few things. One is that I am not representing Government of Pakistan or Pakistan Army. I am a simple individual freelance defense analyst.
Good.
Please take me like that.
Yes, sir.
And I am a citizen of Pakistan. I am a South Asian, right? And secondly, I have 2-3 points to make. I heard the BJP MP and Mr. Parthia also. I have very long interaction with Mr. Parthia on Indian channel. I would make 2-3 points, and I request a deliberate hearing because I was not interrupting. I don't want to be interrupted.
No, nobody's interrupting.
First of all,
but be brief, that's all.
Whatever I'm saying, it is not that I heard that Pakistan would be gravely hurt and I want to justify that. Please don't hurt Pakistan. You're welcome to do anything. Let me tell you, we are going to stand up to it, and we are going to stand up to it very violently. Pakistan Army, Pakistan Air Force and complete nation is prepared to stand anything from you because we lost 149 children, we lost university students.
But how many people have we lost?
And we lost prayer.
But how many people have we lost?
People offering prayer.
What kind of defense is this, sir? What kind of defense are you?
And we are facing this war on terror in which we have lost 70,000 people.
Saeed Saab, with all humility, I never like to interrupt my guests.
I request
but I think you're making a bizarre logic.
You are interrupting me now.
I'm not interrupting.
I'm not making a bizarre logic.
Sir, you are making a bizarre logic.
We are already gravely hurt.
You are trying to justify violence with violence.
Violently.
Are you trying to justify violence with violence, Saeed Saab?
Please carry out your comments after I finish.
Okay.
Secondly, the second thing is that this operation blamed on Pakistan is it is a big foolish fantasy.
Oh, come on.
If Pakistan Army sends anybody into India for an act like this, we will not send them with a United Streets make food, right? We will not send them with ammunition.
What did you send Ajmal Kasab with? What did you send Ajmal
We
Qassam
never
with?
send him.
What did you
Read
send?
Who Killed Kharkare.
Oh,
Read
please,
Who Killed
give me a
Kharkare.
break.
You would come to know the
Give me a
whole
break.
picture of the thing.
Give me a
thing.
break. Now let's
You
not
will
go
come to
down
know the
that
whole
road.
picture.
Let's not go down that road. Let's not go down that road.
Read,
and
read
please
that book, Who Killed
Listen,
Kharkare.
Colonel
Please
Saab,
read
you
that
told
book.
me
You would
you
come
were
to know
not
the
representing the
Hindutva,
government of
Saffron,
Pakistan. You said that you were
terrorism which
representing
is
views.
engulfing the whole of India.
Sir, you said you were representing
you
views
have
as
not
a
heard me,
citizen.
right?
You said you
And
were representing you as a citizen.
Secondly,
Am I to understand these
the last
foolish
point.
views
Last
represent
point.
views
Then
of
I would
citizens
not
of
speak.
Pakistan?
Last
What are you
point.
talking about, sir?
Uri, I have seen Uri.
Huh?
I have seen Uri.
I've also
I have
seen Uri.
served
I'm
on
a citizen of this country.
Kitty
I've been
Batti.
to Uri many times.
I have served on Kafir Khan range. I have served on Tilpatra. And Uri was in a bowl. I have seen Uri. I was conversant with the complete geography of Uri. I was supposed to know Uri.
Oh.
Now let me tell you, we could hear the vehicles running in the Uri in the morning.
Okay.
And we could see smoke rising in the Uri.
So
now my students who are deployed there, my relatives who are deployed there, they are laughing. They are saying the fuel dump was raising white smoke.
Oh.
And let me tell you,
Dr.
a
Swami,
fuel burn would
now I have to
never
hold you.
produce a white
No,
smoke.
now I have to hold you.
And secondly,
because I think each moment
you
you're
would
only
only-
making
because
more
you
and more
can't state
bizarre
truth.
comments. Each moment,
And secondly,
Saab, you're
the
the level of your
weapons being fired
bizarreness.
were like a
Producer,
range practice.
just remove the mic.
It was not a-
Dr. Swami, is it not true that it's exactly this kind of silly, stupid, ridiculous logic which is offered?
Come in.
Yeah, one second, Lieutenant General. I just want Dr. Swami to respond to one point which has been made, because somewhere along the line, all these words, Gita, Bapki, this, that, is the Indian establishment, the BJP, the Prime Minister's office, are they looking at these kind of responses from Pakistan?
No, we don't. Because
Or has that been factored in?
no, we don't need to,
How
because
is it possible that
now he's
Pakistan was
interrupting. He
conducting-
asked you not
forget
to
that.
interrupt.
I think Said Saab, you've crossed the limits, I think, today of being atrocious and being ridiculous. If now, it is going to come down to this level.
This operation is ridiculous.
Okay, my whole, you're saying, but the basic premise
This
of my argument is
false flag
ridiculous.
operation is ridiculous.
18 lives
It
have been
has
lost.
got
Sir, I don't,
absolute
this is
missing
not,
links which
this
are
is not my rival
bigger than
channel,
the
and I
universe.
do not like to do these kind of debates, but please do not be so ridiculous today. Dr. Swami.
See, we in India are aware of the neurosis from which Pakistan suffers. So whatever anyone says, how ridiculous, we understand the
What
mental
neurosis?
trauma they are in. The fact is that the last 4 times there has been a
What
war
neurosis?
which Pakistan has imposed on India. They have lost badly. And they have lost face. In fact, their country broke up into 2.
Right.
Next time it may break up into 4, for all we know. So therefore, they are bound to say these things. We have to plan accordingly. We have, for the first time...
Are we ready to hit Pakistan where it hurts them the most?
Well, of course, but we have to prepare for it.
We have to prepare for it. Yeah, we have to prepare for it. So let me put the next question. Hold on. Let me put the next question as our Pakistani guest continues to explode with glee. And I don't know on what basis. The next question. Has India's strategic restraint against Pakistan, for far too long, this whole business of showing restraint was supposed to be a symbol of our democracy, a hallmark of our maturity. Pakistan was the infant terrible, the immature neighbor, and we were supposed to be the mature neighbor. I'm saying that restraint that we have shown against Pakistan, has that failed? Let me put that question to you, Lieutenant General Jaiswal. Do you believe, Lieutenant General, that India somewhere along the line now needs to move away from mere diplomacy, coercive diplomacy, towards actual military strikes against Pakistan? Is that a possibility?
First of all, the Prime Minister has been rather clear in his statement that we are not going to exercise any strategic restraint. As far as the timing of our response is concerned, the diplomatic offensive has already started off. As far as the military action is concerned, I think it should have been concurrent with the diplomatic offensive in terms of local action, because the point of effect is Uri. Opposite Uri, by now, we should have reacted with fire assaults. As far as the escalation of this is concerned, there are so many factors which come into play, which will be, of course, we have a strategy. I don't want to speak on this channel, but we do retain. But my point is that concurrency has to be there. What people are wanting to see is not the diplomatic offensive alone. They also want to see what is happening on ground. Because the effect was in Uri, there should have been a tactical response there itself. 2, what Colonel Shaukat Ali is saying, Colonel Shaukat, you're an army man, and you're saying your people were laughing when white smoke was. What kind of smoke does an incendiary give? It gives white smoke.
No,
you see, when of
fuel
course the
dump
dump
has
is
gone up.
blowing up, it's
Diesel was
dark
burning.
smoke. But
Diesel
if there is
burn does
any,
not give white smoke.
please kindly allow me, Colonel Shaukat, allow me.
Yeah, Lieutenant
Please kindly allow me.
Yeah, Lieutenant Jaswal. Yes.
Yeah. You see, smoke bomb and incendiary bombs which are there. There is white smoke which comes out from that. If it hits a target, it will of course explode, and thereafter, whatever the material of the target, the smoke will be there accordingly. What I find today, to just sum it up in one line, the concurrency has to be there.
The concurrency
diplomatic
has to be there.
offensive and the tactical action at the point of effect.
But Lieutenant General,
That has to be there because
may I just put it this way, sir?
entire country is wanting to
I am
see what
actually
is
not
going
in
on.
agreement. I'm not in, and you can, both you and Ambassador
Yes.
Parthasarathy can sort of disagree with me, because that's the third question that I want to put up on the program. This whole business of diplomatic offensive against Pakistani establishment. My third question on the program is, does this Indian diplomatic offensive against Pakistan, does it really shame Nawaz Sharif? Does it really matter to Nawaz Sharif? It was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who was the Prime Minister. What did he do? He went with Lahore bus, spoke with great fanfare, took Devanand along with him. Nawaz Sharif was there. Look what happened. Then came Pervez Musharraf, Manmohan Singh, now Narendra. My point is, does Nawaz Sharif really care? I mean, is he really in control of the game, Ambassador Parthasarathy? Does it really matter to him?
I think the Prime Minister has made it very clear that the original belief that he had that Nawaz Sharif would be able to deliver has been proved incorrect, because Nawaz cannot deliver.
He's not in a position to deliver.
He is not in a position to deliver. What with the scandal about his sons, what with the pressure from the military. But I'm looking at it in another way. The fact of the matter is the Pakistan military is in a bind. And don't look at Pakistan military in terms of India. They have 220,000 troops or 230,000 troops deployed in the frontier province, in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan. Their so-called Operation Zarb-e-Azab has been a miserable failure, and they are blaming Nawaz Sharif for not taking follow-up action under the National Action Plan. What has happened is, it has resulted in 800,000 people being driven away from their homes by aerial attack, artillery, and hardly any of them have been able to return to their home. 50,000 have crossed into Afghanistan, and they are coming back and attacking Pakistani positions, not just in the Waziristan, but in the Khyber Agency. So, Pakistan is tied up in its western frontiers. And I think you must remember, the Pakistan military is fighting in 2 out of the 3 provinces. The Rangers are deployed in Karachi. You know what's happening in Balochistan, the world knows. And this massive deployment to fight Pashtuns. And the fact of the matter is, amongst Punjabis, whenever they fought the Pashtuns, they have lost. The only fellows who have succeeded are the Sikhs. No. So what I'm saying is that look at these matters strategically. Strategically, they are internally in a bind. American aid is being cut off. The Chinese have now more or less said that they are not delivering on the economic corridor.
But I just want to look at strategy from the point of view of India. You know why? Because whether it's strategy or it's war that Dr. Swami is talking about, there is a cost to be paid.
No, just a minute. The cost, they are paying.
And there's a financial cost.
There's a financial and much other cost they are paying, human cost.
No, but we are also paying the financial cost.
It is being enhanced. This is outside our borders. Right. All I'm saying is, it's time we started taking advantage of it.
Okay, it's time we started taking advantage of it. Abhay, I'm a head equities private banking from HDFC Bank also joining us. Abhay, just look at these statements which are being made. And I was looking at many of these comments being made by some of the leading lights of corporate India as well here. Am I to understand that in the event of this strike that we are hearing about, and what Dr. Swami was saying, that Pakistan is going to be grievously hurt by India, there is bound to be a financial cost? The international community doesn't like instability in any region. Is the Indian corporate class willing to stand next, right shoulder to shoulder with the Indian establishment?
See, I don't think there is any doubt when it comes to the security of the country or when your country is in some kind of threat, that whether it's the corporate class or any class in the country, that is not, irrespective of what the consequences are. I mean, historically and time and again that has been the history, and I don't think that has changed. But having said that, I think we also have to understand that the world has changed. When you say grievously hurt someone, you can do it in various ways. It's not necessarily, you're living in the digital world, so it's not necessary that you have to carry out an obvious strike in, to hurt someone. Today, economic, hurt is far greater than just going across and having a strategic strike. And even if that was to be done in today's world, I don't think anyone, the defense minister or the prime minister, or anyone is going to discuss it on media and say ki this is what is our strategy in this.
No, I agree, but the problem.
Open war or
Subramanian Swamy, what Abhay is saying is right. But the truth is that exactly this sentiment has been conveyed on numerous other occasions. So therefore, I'm again asking you, has a decision really been taken, Dr. Swamy? As much as you may know, has a decision been taken to at least take some step which has not been taken earlier?
No, this is the general, I would say, overwhelming opinion in the country that we have to deliver a blow to Pakistan. And I'm not going to...
Is that Swamy's view? Or
my view of what the overwhelming...
Because I'll hold your view as a BJP view. You happen to be a BJP member of parliament.
It may be my BJP view, maybe the BJP view 6 months later, but right now I'm expressing my view.
Okay.
And that is that my understanding of the public, and you are also reliable, you rely on Twitter and so on. These are multiple sources.
Yes.
The country today is thirsting for a reply. And that reply is not in economic terms. And they've, of course, economic interests are there. Now we have company.
Can I just play one statement? I mean, this whole business of economic interest, which is being spoken about by Abhay and Dr. Swamy. Just for a moment, take a pause and look at the statement which has been made by a Pakistani minister. This is a Pakistani minister who goes on record, and look at the kind of threats which are openly being issued against India. So, Shaukat Saeed, who says that, oh, I'm just a Pakistani citizen, don't look at my view as a Pakistani establishment view, is actually being incorrect, because his view is exactly the view which is being expressed by the Pakistani establishment. Just take a look at the statement.
अल्लाह का फजल है, इट इज़ इंटरनेशनली रिकग्नाइज, हमें बरतरी हासिल है. और अगर हमारी सलामती को खतरा हुआ, हमारी सरजमीन के ऊपर किसी ने कदम रखा और किसी के अज़ाइम जो हैं वो हमारी सालमियत के मुताबिक जो है, उनके मुतल्लक जो है वो ख़तरनाक हुए, तो हम गुरेज नहीं करेंगे अपनी दफा के लिए उन वेपन्स का इस्तेमाल करें.
यानी हम अपनी, अगर हिंदुस्तान से जंग हुई तो हम एटमी हथियार भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं.
देखिए ये तो सिचुएशन पे, लेकिन हमारी अगर दफा खतरे में हुई, हमारा बका खतरे में हुई, तो फिर तो जो चाहो लगा दो. डर कैसा?
डर कैसा?
Let me be very clear.
Pakistani defense minister.
Pakistan's defense minister counts for zero. Even General Raheel Sharif does not call on him. You have to go by what the military says. The Pakistan defense minister is an ornamental character.
So he doesn't matter.
He doesn't matter.
Okay.
But having said that, I want to say one thing. All this rhetoric is nice. But when it comes to doing what we have to do and will do, I know, about the military option, and not this nonsense about hitting some terrorist bases, leave the timing, the decision to the military. Don't mess around with the NSG like you did in Pathankot.
But you know, you bring an important point. I don't want to get into that debate now, because that's my debate on the other side of the break. Because I want to look at the domestic political side to this,
just a minute. No, I think this government is astute enough. You have to take the opposition into confidence to say, show patience. But I am reasonably certain that the Indian army on its own is not going to tolerate 19 of its soldiers in bed being killed without retribution. They have done it before, they'll do it again.
We saw what happened in Parliament, we saw what happened in Kaluchak, we've seen what's happened in Uri. Is there going to be any difference or not? Ambassador Parthasarathy has given me just the right cue to take a break, because on the other side of the break, the bureaucrats, the diplomats are going to move away, and we will put this question to the political class. Is there a political consensus which is possible in India when it comes to dealing with Pakistan or not? Or, as I have been repeatedly pointing out, we'll continue to swim in the same waters that we've been swimming for the last several years. Take a short break. Return with lots more on the other side. Welcome back to the special edition of Big 5 at 10 this Monday evening, where an important point coming over from the BJP leader Subrahmanyam Swamy saying that a decision has been taken to grievously hurt Pakistan. Let's look at the political side of that statement which has been made by him. After the terror attack, whether it had taken place in 2008 or even earlier, often political parties take political positions. Now, the BJP may well be taking this position today. What was the BJP doing when the Congress was in power? Let's take a look at political reactions then and now. What happened post 26/11? On the 27th of November 2008, Manmohan Singh, the then Prime Minister, said, "We will take up strongly with our neighbours that the use of their territory for launching attacks on us will not be tolerated, and that there would be a cost if suitable measures are not taken by them." The very next day, what did Narendra Modi, who was then the Gujarat Chief Minister, what did he say? PM has disappointed the entire nation as people had pinned a lot of hopes on his special message to the nation. Now, post-Uri attacks in September 18, look at how the tables have turned. We strongly condemn the cowardly terror attack in Uri. I assure the nation that those behind this despicable attack will not go unpunished. And what is the Congress party saying? The Congress party is saying Uri terror attack sponsored, propagated, abetted by Pakistan is the result of failure of political leadership of the Modi government. So let's raise the most important question on the program. Can India-Pakistan relations ever be de-linked from domestic politics? Is the basic problem between Indo-Pak relations is that in both countries, whether in India or in Pakistan, it's so closely related to domestic politics that somehow we never come up with a solution. Let's put that question to our political panel. Subrahmanyam Swamy still in studios with us. Congress spokesperson Tom Vadakkan joining us. Samajwadi Party's Gaurav Bhatia as well. Now, Mr. Vadakkan, what are you trying to do today, sir? Are you effectively paying back the BJP in the same coin that the BJP had done to you when you were in power in 2008?
Well, to begin with, I think you have not read the statement in complete. The Indian National Congress has said in the opening remarks, salutes the sacrifice of 18 soldiers and the attack on the national conscience, and the perpetrators should be brought to book at the earliest. This, sir, has been missed out in your reading of the press release
you include
of the Indian
that
National
too.
Congress.
You include that
now,
too. Agreed.
A little flashback would be useful because Dr. Swamy is here. You see, one thing I must praise Mr. Swamy. He may be inconsistent, but he is consistent in what he says. But let me complete the statement.
Yeah.
This is what we heard from the BJP. Are you not weak? If indeed you are strong government, country needs proof of that. 4th of May 2009, 3:35 from the Prime Minister of the day. He wanted proof. We are not asking for proof.
So,
we are saying we are with you.
So, Swamiji,
we will go along.
No. You are saying that you will go along.
And the Bharatiya Janata Party.
You are saying that you will go along. But is there, I mean, surely, Tom Vadakkan, you don't believe that the people of this country are so naive that they cannot see through the hidden part of your statement? What you were accusing me of not reading the full part? Are you not effectively suggesting to the BJP that the BJP has failed? Many could ask you that on a day when the nation is standing firm behind these 18 soldiers whose lives have been lost, their families, everyone wants to stand with the families. For you to be saying that this is a result of failed diplomacy, could the timing have been different, Tom Vadakkan? Could you have waited for a day before you launched? You're entitled to launch this attack against the BJP, but could the timing have been different?
I think I should answer.
The circle has gone the full round. Let's admit that. I mean, we are not brain dead. We have to tell you, we have to show a mirror. We have to show you a mirror of what you have been doing.
So
but yes, the difference is we are today with you and you consult us, you talk to us,
Is
have
the
a
Congress
national
with the
consensus,
BJP,
not
Dr.
just
Swami?
us.
Well,
Talk to the
let me-
entire
let me-
opposition.
let him finish, I'll
Take
Is
the
the
entire
Congress with
opposition.
the
And I'm
BJP,
sure
Dr. Swami?
all of us
Let
will be
me
together.
say, but let him finish.
Yeah.
What I would say is, first of all, Narendra Modi has been perfectly consistent from the statements you have read out. He wants a strong action.
He wants and he does are two different things.
Well, that is
He
to
can
be
keep
seen.
wanting. Manmohan Singh also wanted.
No, wait a minute. No. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister.
Yes.
When Modi said this is a disappointing statement because it's weak.
So?
All right. Now,
So
today,
the Congress is saying the same thing today.
No,
that you failed in your foreign policy.
This attack has only happened day before yesterday.
Yes.
Let me tell you, United States, when it was that 9/11 took place, they did not launch an attack on a totally defenseless Afghanistan till 7th of October. And there is a certain amount of preparation that has to be made. And then only we can make the announcement as to what we intend to do.
So
now, there is no inconsistency between what Modi said then as the Gujarat Chief Minister and what he is saying now.
It's only talk. My point is that every minister of this government is only indulging in talk. And they keep indulging in talk.
No, you said they say one thing in opposition, one thing in the ruling party. Now,
that's what Tom Badakan is saying.
Whether our
Tom
government...
Badakan says that he's holding a mirror against you, Dr. Swami, and your party.
I'm sorry, he doesn't
and
know.
he says you're being consistent. You're being consistently consistent.
Well, Congress has been making all kinds of allegations over the years, and none of them is any valid. In fact, they are on the dock most of the time.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, there's no inconsistency in what he said. The issue is whether now he will act according to what he has said.
Bhatia,
and there's not enough time passed for you to pass a comment on
Rather interestingly, Gaurav Bhatia, the view being taken is that India will do something, but at a time of its own choice. Now, Ambassador Parthasarathy, who was here with us in the first segment of the program, did give us some idea that who knows, maybe in a few months' time from now, maybe in November, December, the Indian government could think in terms of doing something. But in February, the state of UP goes to polls. Are you suspecting, Gaurav Bhatia, that every step, any step which is going to be taken by the Indian government could well be taken keeping in mind the UP elections?
Bhupendra, first I would say that every citizen's heart goes out to the family members of our brave soldiers who've laid down their life. This is supreme sacrifice. And I would only like to say that will we judge the strength of the Prime Minister and the nation on the basis of the words that he speaks, or we will judge it by the number of bullets that are fired and the number of soldiers, Pakistani soldiers that are killed by the Indian Army. I think we have to go by the latter.
Okay.
And second, I am reminded of Gurdaspur attack, July 2015, Pathankot, Jan 2016, and now this attack. We have been hearing a lot. And I think time for diplomacy and words is over, and time to show Pakistan its rightful place by showing them that India is a strong nation that knows how to counter-attack. This has to be done.
So if there is a all-party meeting, if there is a special session of parliament which is called, will the Samajwadi Party first point out what is wrong with Prime Minister Modi and the BJP, or will the Samajwadi Party say that, okay, we are with you, Prime Minister, go ahead and defend the borders? Is that the view which will be taken by the Samajwadi Party?
Bhupen, Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav on the floor of the House in the last session also said, get back the Indian territory that is occupied by Pakistan and we are with you. Okay. And let me say this with some authority and responsibility, that even if we do not agree with the action that has been taken in the last 2 years, we will not let that come in our way to support the government and to stand for the nation. But please start acting. Show Pakistan its place. Retaliate strongly so that the entire world knows that India is a strong nation.
So am I to understand that whether it's the Congress or the Samajwadi Party,
Tom, the honor of the soldiers.
Tom, whether it's the Samajwadi Party and a whole host of other reactions that I've been getting from other regional parties, is the common view, time for talk is over, now time to show some real action? Is that the consensus which would emerge, Tom?
Correct.
Well, we as a party have said that we need those who committed the crime to be tried in Indian courts. How do you get it? How do you get them? Who all you attack is on the basis of inputs that the government will have. And if they take the opposition into confidence, we have our views. We are ready to share it. Okay. That is subject to an open mind. That is subject to the open-mindedness of this government.
Okay.
Dr. Swamy has just visited the defense minister. He has said that on public record.
Yes.
I want to repeat one line that the defense minister also said at that time. Can assure you that without permission, no one can come here. This is the last terrorist and this will be the last terrorist. This is none other than the defense minister, Mr. Parekar, whom Mr. Swamy met. How much of confidence we have in the man? I would appreciate if Dr. Subramania Swamy was the defense minister.
Yeah, fair point.
But
fair point.
If a man whose reputation and his efficiency is well known, I don't want to go into public domain. But yes, we are with this country in this time of crisis.
So the point is, the political class, the citizens, and you yourself are admitting, India is restless. Yeah. And I'm saying India is on the boil.
Yeah.
Now, how do you channelize this boiling point, this anger which exists, sir?
The issue is, you asked me what is the decision. I said I don't know. Officially, it has not been communicated to me.
Fair enough.
But from what I've lived in Delhi long enough to know, to find out, and I think the decision is that we have to act this time, and it should be to grievously hurt Pakistan. That is the decision. Now, you can't dictate to us that it should happen on the third day after Pakistan sends terrorists across to our country.
But what were you doing when the Congress was in power? Were you all not
we were
doing
asking
exactly
for action.
The opposite what you're saying today?
We were asking for action, and that was continuously happening. And as far as 26/11 is concerned, it was much worse than this terrorist attack.
I agree, but human life is human life. Whether it was 150 civilians then,
I am saying, you tell us.
So don't say much worse then,
you tell us by which date you will, till what date you are ready to wait, and we'll tell you whether we are going to satisfy your
Gaurav Bhatia. Quick final rebuttal from Gaurav Bhatia.
Yeah, not a rebuttal, but I just want to tell Mr. Swamy that all political parties across the spectrum are supporting you. Nobody is going to dictate. We will only give suggestions. But I request you earnestly on behalf of all citizens, allow the army a free hand. Let them take a call.
I think that's a fair point.
They must be disturbed. They want to retaliate. They want to retaliate. Allow them to retaliate.
Yes.
And
let me add to that. Dr. Swamy.
This should be a strong reaction from India.
Dr. Swamy.
Let me add to that when Bangladesh war was there, Mrs. Gandhi left it to the army. It was army said not in April, but in December.
So who knows? Who knows?
Today I am saying that it is my understanding that the army will decide the date.
The army will decide the date. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this Monday night, really explosive edition of Big Five at 10. The diplomats have spoken out, the corporate voices have spoken out, the politicians have spoken out. What do I feel? I believe enough has been said about what India can do and what it cannot do. Time now is to act. When Prime Minister Modi came to power in 2014, he promised a muscular foreign policy. Since he became the Prime Minister, our foreign policy, I'm afraid, only seems to be hurtling from one crisis to the other. If political accountability question could be raised in 2008, it must be, and it should be raised even now. Else, there would really be no difference between a Manmohan Singh government and a Narendra Modi government. Well, with that take, as we began this program, we said that our thoughts today, our prayers today are with those who have lost their lives. Let's take a look at these images and do think about this. Do think about this, the kind of sacrifices which are made by Jawans in our country.
Let's be sure something will be done. Befitting reply will be given.
ये सचमुच बहुत दुखद घटना है. इसमें जवान मारे गए हैं. इसका तो जवाब देना पड़ेगा.
जो लोग इसके लिए जिम्मेवार हैं, स्वाभाविक है कि उनको इसकी सजा भी भुगतनी पड़ेगी.
Once again, I just want to make an appeal to all of you that whatever you do over these next 2-3 days, because this anger that we've been talking about, this is going to boil, but it also needs to be channelized constructively. So keep thinking, and keep tweeting #Big5@10. That's the best way for you to make your voice heard before people who should really be hearing your voices, who are our hero, villain and ridiculous of the day. In the context of what's happened, let's just introduce you to the hero of the day. Frankly, I believe that this montage, this collection of photographs should be the hero of the day for the entire television industry, for the entire media sector, because all these young lives that have been lost, they hold a lesson to those who are responsible for the loss of these lives. And hopefully the Indian government will do justice to what has been lost to India. Who's the villain of the day? The villain of the day, as I've often pointed out, is the man who should be the villain of the day also for the entire television industry, for the entire media sector. Mr. Sharif calls himself the Prime Minister of the country, and General Rahil Sharif calls himself the Army Chief. Are either of them really in control of the game or not? Big question. And who's the ridiculous of the day? The ridiculous of the day is the Defence Minister of Pakistan, who, according to Ambassador Parthasarathy, holds no meaning whatsoever for trying to threaten India. That's it then on this edition of Big 5 at 10. Just before we take that break, you've heard our take, you've heard the politician's take. What's the in-house cartoonist take? Take a look at this.